So my church got these plans from the Winfield collection. They did really well. It was really good. We're putting it in our Christmas village, so we're going to make it look just a little bit different than how they have it pictured. But we bought these two editions. I highly recommend it. Uh, it saved a lot of time and a lot of frustration. So here are a couple pictures of the gears being cut and the plans that I had hanging up there. That's the motor box. That came with the kit, the motor inside, and the hardware, not the box. I had to make it. That's the base with the feet. This is the gearbox with the gear. There's a Lazy Susan under there as well. I got it off Amazon right here. It's very cheap. Holds up to 1,000 pounds. Uh, it works really well. So here's a small video of it working right now. My little man. Hey, buddy. Uh, I used a scroll saw to cut the gears. I highly recommend that as well. The jigsaw could not get in there sharp enough to get it. I tried. It didn't work. But the gears mesh together very well. I recommend running it for about an hour just so that the wood wears in on itself and creates a couple smooth spots for you. The motor is a little loud, but once it's all together, it's not that loud. And we have music playing over top of it as well. So that's the base. That's what the poles will end up going through on the sides, and we're going to stick figurines on top of it and have them spin around. That's just to show it leaning up against my car, show you how big it is. That's the center pole right there. That's going to get covered up. The 4x4 is going to go through the middle of that and ride along that track in the middle there. These are a couple of pictures. I highly recommend leaving that side open so you can see how it guides and make sure it guides right, stays on track. You also have to shim the 4x4 inside there to make sure it doesn't have to be straight up and down, but it has to be able to ride inside there evenly without pinching it or jamming it up. Cutting out I use a jigsaw for this, cutting out the side panels that go around the top. Those are all the pieces I had to cut to make the roof. Just a close-up of that as well. All the wood that we had to get to do it. It wasn't much. It was about $150, $160 worth of wood. There's the top being put together. I used a pneumatic staple gun, heavy-duty staples, and some wood glue to put this together. I used screws where the wood was thick enough to actually use screws, or if it was a very important part for the stability of it, I used screws. The I brought it inside just because it was really cold out right now. I used wood putty for some of the things. The lawn is such a pain to work with. And we caulked the seams as well to fill in the gaps. And we painted over top of it. It looks really good. There's my buddy Mike standing next to it. We're going to end up putting snow on top of it, so you won't see that. You'll just see the ivy along the outside and the snow. This is the front part of the Christmas village that we do at my church. And there she is spinning. She was bogging down a little bit, and I found out the center column wasn't lined up exactly perfect. So we had to undo a few screws, let it ride, let it find its home, and then we put the screws back in, and she started to ride a lot more smoothly after that. This is the carousel. We also did I can't remember what it's called. It's not a merry-go-round. Ferris wheel. We also did the Ferris wheel. There it is on the left there. So it was really good. The only pain in the plans were they gave measurements like 18/64ths and just odd sizes for whatever reason. I just rounded it to the nearest 16th or even eighth if it just wasn't close enough to a full number. But that was the only issue that I really had with the plans. They were really good. They worked out great. We had a blast doing it. We did it in about 2 weeks. We were kind of rushed, but it was great.